am recording now.
All right, I just started.
Okay, great. Well, then let's synchronize. And we cross streams in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that was perfect.
All right, cool.
That was the best clap we've ever had.
Yeah, well, we're bringing that energy into Dark Road because this is our favorite game. We're so excited. We're pumped.
Game is strong, a strong term to call it a game.
Uh-huh.
We'll get to that, I guess. It's going to be hard to hold back the disdain.
Well, I think people finally understand now that is not the point of this podcast.
Correct, yeah.
Some people will get mad. But you know what, whatever. At this point, we're almost done.
Yeah, so exactly. How many more times could they be mad about it? It's single digit times left that they could be mad.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, season 2, we're not going to have, if we do a season 2, which, we're leaning towards it. Or maybe, I don't know, we're leaning some way. We can't really, depending on what we talk about, it's not always going to lend itself to, one good thing and one bad thing, So this format happens literally, one more time after today with Melmem? So,
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, and what it is... Welcome to No Sad Face, a toxically positive Kingdom Hearts podcast, brought to you by me, PJ from Cabletown, and my co-host,
your intrusive thought, Regular Pat.
Oh my gosh, my 13th reason, Regular Pat.
And that 13 reasons is a good thing in Kingdom Hearts, okay?
Is it? Because I feel like the vessels are not a good thing.
It is the darkness number. Well, whatever.
This game in particular... It has 13 reasons, and that's also a literal massacre.
That's true, yeah.
It gets real dark, actually.
Yeah, that's why the road is lit that way.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
It's a dark road. This is stupid.
It ain't called Kingdom Hearts Slightly Dim Road, I tell you.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts Fart Road.
Yeah, that's about my thoughts on the matter. All right, we'll see you for Melmem next week.
All
2
right,
weeks.
you know what else? I don't want to be well, first of all, how you doing?
I'm good. Nothing crazy. Well, I guess we could talk about, I did spend my Friday afternoon, Friday evening, participating in the Fresh Faces 3 Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer qualifier. And I did so badly, PJ. I'm glad you didn't see, because you would have been so ashamed and embarrassed of me.
I saw.
You saw?
I was in there for half a second. And something happened on Friday and I had to leave. But I was like, oh my God.
Long story short, I misread the tracker that's provided for you when you're, gathering your items in the rando.
Oh my God.
And I mistook green and blue means completely different things. I was going to worlds that had nothing left in them, just for funsies. I finished third to last out of a group of about 60-something, so wasn't the best showing for your boy. But one of the lead organizers of that tournament, Roromaniac 8, actually a longtime viewer and patron of mine as well. I actually met him at Reconnect. He was so kind as to buy me a drink on that lovely terrace.
I didn't get anything but.
He reached out to the both of us asking, hey, would you like to do a little sponsorship-esque thing between NSF and Fresh Faces 3? No exchange of funds or anything, just hey, here's a podcast. I don't know if they've talked about us yet on their streams. The qualifiers just wrapped up today. Shane actually partook, and I think he's moving on to the next round. So congrats to NSF family member Shane for moving on to the chopping block, whenever that is.
That's incredible. Not a paid sponsorship. #, not paid.
Right.
We don't have to disclose FTC. Blah blah blah. Not a thing.
Please leave PJ alone.
It's for a good cause. They're not going to care.
Yeah.
Slava Ukraini. There we go. Everything is good.
Yeah. PJ says this because Fresh Faces 3 is also a charity event, and so it's raising money for Project Hope, which is a Ukrainian humanitarian sort of relief fund for, all of the, stuff that's going on over there. So really good cause. We'll have links in the description and the pinned comment. I don't know if you could do show notes on the audio only stuff, but go check it out. Our episode will be this episode will be releasing in the midst of their top 32 and top 16. So the best of the best will be playing in that tournament as this episode goes out. So you can go check that out. Maybe we'll see some other familiar faces advance further. I know KH Guides was playing the same day I did. I don't know if he advanced or not, but a lot of people that I've gotten to cross paths with were partaking. So cool stuff. But I got my ass beat and I'm out. So maybe next year.
Yeah, I went in, I watched for a second, and then I saw, like, you could not see the chat.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is going to get frustrating real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So
they had the dramatic irony the whole time, and I was just floundering, and which is ironic because you don't need to go to Atlantica in the KH2 rando, at least this format. Right. So, but man, your boy was big floundering. It was bad.
Bigly.
Yeah, right, what can you do? That's my dark road.
Anyway. Yeah, well, thanks for asking us. I mean, it's a cool thing anyway. We talk from time to time about cool things that are happening in the community. Yeah. So we didn't really need to, like, formally set anything up for it. We would have talked about it regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's cool. We love Ukraine.
Yep.
I'm kind of bummed that this is the episode that we have for this charity.
That's true, because this will be the least viewed episode of the season.
Every time that we do an episode, I feel like almost every time, I'm like, yeah, this is a weird situation. None more weird, I think, than Dark Road.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the weirdest. In a family of redheaded stepchildren, this is the reddest and the steppiest. Which I don't know how you quantify that, but I can just tell from looking at it.
Redheaded viewers and listeners, please don't.
Yeah, stepchildren of the NSF audience. I didn't mean that personally. It's just a turn of phrase.
Pat probably has redheaded people in his family.
I actually don't have a single one that I've met, but maybe back in the mother country.
God. Here's a hot take for you.
Sure.
I've been rethinking over the past few years my relationship with Kingdom Hearts.
Uh-oh.
I know.
It's time to have the talk. DTF.
No. Well,
not DTF, DTR.
I'm not DTR.
DTR is define the relationship.
Well, I've definitely been seeing other games.
Yeah, for sure. On
over
the side,
past few years. Like this is, we are not monogamous.
Yeah.
Which I guess you would never know if you hear me talk, because I only talk about Kingdom Hearts. But
right.
I think I'm really hard on people who hate certain games in the series.
Yeah.
Who hate those games because they had expectations that weren't met. I'm really hard on people who don't like Kingdom Hearts 3 because it's usually the same batch of comments, which kind of boils down.
It's the usual talking points, which, like, I think to an extent, I think to an extent, a lot of them were just like spat out of a conveyor belt by people that were making stuff at the time, but that's just me.
I mean, I also think that, like, they just wanted Kingdom Hearts 2 again, and that was not going to happen. Right. And like I said in the Kingdom Hearts 3 episode, like, if you want to get a series to be really consistent, I understand that frustration because Kingdom Hearts is not that.
It's never consistent.
And that's okay. And that's perfectly fine.
What two games do you think are the most similar? Is it like BBS and Dream Drop?
Oh, God.
It's like one and Com are basically incomparable besides, like, the makeup of the worlds. And then one, 2 is such a departure from 1. I mean, like, 2 and 3 are not that different. I think there's more shared DNA there between 2 and 3 than 1 and 2, but I could be wrong.
Well, it's like, even when things are the same, they're wildly different. Like,
sure, yeah.
Dream Drop and Birth by Sleep have a lot of the core DNA.
Yeah.
But Dream Drop has the drop mechanic, it's got flow motion, it's got dream meters, it doesn't have shot locks.
Yeah.
So, like, those are wildly different gameplay experiences.
Yeah.
People might get mad at me for saying this, but I think Kingdom Hearts 1 and Days actually have a lot in common.
That's actually a good point. And we talked about that a good bit, especially during your section on the Days episode, how Days feels like kind of a game out of time, and it's sort of like more in that PS1 sensibilities, also working with a lot of the KH1 environments, and just the sense of movement feels a lot more grounded and similar to that first game. Can I do it real quick, because we have to fill time this episode, I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Friend of the podcast as well, 2C Phoenix, who is doing an incredible job with the KH1.
We love Phoenix.
Love Phoenix. He's doing the KH1 Breakdown series. Met him at Reconnect. Wonderful guy. He asked me the other day, what is the definition for a mainline, like a numbered Kingdom Hearts game? And I said, I think it's Sora is the main playable character, and the game introduces new Disney worlds. Do you agree with that? Like, that is the definition that you use to include the 3 and exclude everything else.
I'm thinking.
And I think he said something crazy, like, what about VCast then? I'm like, come on. All right. Canon games featuring Sora that introduce new Disney worlds.
I think...
Not just featuring Sora, but main character, because Dream Drop is...
The expectation should be... Sora is the protagonist, and it has the action battle system that Kingdom Hearts 1 created.
Okay.
And that Donald and Goofy are party members, and that there are new Disney worlds.
Okay.
I'm sipping on the copium. I fully believe that Donald and Goofy are going to be back in Kingdom Hearts 4 in the same capacity.
I just think you can't do it without them. I think it would be like I don't know. It's way too much of a departure, IMO.
I absolutely believe that those screenshots that we saw of the 2 rockets that are going into the dark side,
that's Donald and Goofy.
Are Donald and Goofy. For sure. I believe that Hades yeeted them to Quadratum.
Yeah.
Not a doubt in my mind.
He killed them.
Well, and people are like, I think it's going to be rockets. Fuck you. It's not rockets.
Rockets?
Who's fucking shooting rockets at the Heartless?
Get the rocket.
Also, the colors are that very brightish yellow and that blue, which Goofy's color is green. Fuck you. Play Kingdom Hearts 3 again. Get to the very end where the controllers talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
And you see Donald and Goofy's hearts.
Yeah.
And Sora gets revived in the
Does Goofy light up
very
yellow?
last thing you do. Goofy's heart is that color yellow.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So,
I'm giving it an out.
I'm right. Unless I'm wrong.
Yeah.
In which case, I'm never going to bring it up again.
David,
I'm never going to bring it up again.
David, play the final Xehanort fight in KH3 and get footage of the
I know
controller.
I'm right about that.
Oh, okay.
I know I'm right about that. I don't know if I'm going to be right about Donald and Goofy showing up in 4.
I'm giving it an outside chance of it's like Keyblades, because I feel like there's precedence with that and with Aqua and BBS Final Mix. But I lean towards the Donald and Goofy thing. Yeah, that would make it's like all of that reads
gold.
But it does read as like early game, like everything that we've seen is early game, maybe outside of the Mickey thing, but even that I think could be early. But that would make it, it would make sense to get them in.
I think the Donald and Goofy scene with Hades has a payoff. I don't think they would have introduced that if it wasn't going to have a payoff, and I think the payoff is they're getting sent to Quadratum.
Yeah.
But we will doubtlessly we will talk about that later because it is relevant to Dark Road.
Yeah.
But my whole point in reimagining and reapproaching the way that we deal with these games.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I recognize that my whole thing for Days was that it wasn't what I wanted and it wasn't what I expected out of an organization game. But I think that having that experience with Days, because I'm not immune to it. It's fine. It's fine if you feel that way about any game. But for me personally, I have a better time after that being like, I'm just going to take in what we get. I'm along for the ride. I'm not going to pour my whole heart and expectation into things that have not been shown to me.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to play the game and judge it by its merits and what it intended to do. For me, I think that judging the games going forward on what they intended to do is way more, how do I put this? Less turbulent of an experience.
Yeah.
Than like riding the hype train.
Right. I mean, I just think like when you don't like something, you don't make it like, your core personality trait or like your primary talking point. Like, I love when I post a video about like, hey, here's me ranking the KH3 bosses. Why are there comments telling me how disappointing KH3 was? That's not what we're talking about here. Like, why do you...
It never stops.
It's just like fucking,
And I know that I'm contrarian about Kingdom Hearts 2. I think Kingdom Hearts 2 is a beautifully executed game.
Yeah,
I think they did everything they wanted to do on that game. I think it is incredibly polished. There are multiple good reasons why that game is the favorite of so many people.
Yeah.
It's just not my favorite. And I think that, like, criticisms against 3 usually are tied to 2, and I don't like that. But I don't think that it invalidates your experience as a fan or as a game enjoyer or whatever to think that Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best one, because like lots of people do, and that is totally valid, and there's lots of reasons to think that way. But what I mean to say is that like I want to go into every game being like, okay, what were the storytellers wanting to do? What were the game designers wanting to do? What did they learn? What are they experimenting with? Like, how does this stand as an experience and as a piece of art? And I got to tell you, my resolve has never been more tested than with Dark Road.
Yeah.
It's just baffling to me. I don't like being that person that has only negative things to say about something.
Right.
I don't have I'm just going to be candid, you guys. I don't have a lot of positive things to say about Dark Road.
Yeah, I mean, we're recording this later than we usually do in the day, and in the week, frankly. And man, I have been racking the old brain as to what I could say. And I do have something. I've brought something to class, but it's not like on the same level as, even my next least favorite game. But
I mean, I posted about it on Blue Sky being like, we're having a hard time with this, you guys.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, yep. There was one comment that fucking took me out. It was like, just release a cold open, and then in a few months, a first chunk of episode. And then a few months later, with some delays, a summary of the rest of the episode.
Yeah. And then we'll take the podcast offline, and then you can't even access it anymore.
I can't even play it. Can't access it, but other people will have uploaded it, and Damo will have eventually made a dub that is other people's. I would listen to that.
I'm going to audition for PJ.
Good fucking luck.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Do you want to talk about like the the development and all that?
I do, but it's confusing to me. I'm going to do something that I've never done before.
Do it.
And I'm going to pull up the Wikipedia page.
I have it up.
That, I bet you do, but we're talking about pulling up the Wikipedia page. And we're going to talk about the development and release of the game.
Okay.
Oh no, I killed Pat. Oh, wouldn't that be horrible if you died while recording this podcast? And
I'm going to join Hodor.
And like in a couple of weeks, I'll be like, "Hey, regular GF, can you send me Pat's audio?" Because he didn't send it because he fucking died.
Yeah. And then you'll shave your head as a sign of your resolve.
Oh, I would never. I've got a weird fucking head. So Dark Road is a weird one because it is not its own game. It's not its own game. Tetsuya Nomura loves Xehanort. He fucking loves
too much. It's a little weird.
It is. I don't get it, if I'm being honest.
What does he see in him?
I think he sees himself.
I mean, does Nomura have a big bald veiny head? I hate the veins, man. The veins.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
So. I mean, I'm fine with a couple of veins here and there, but like
on the head of his scalp, I mean.
Right. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like a lot. And honestly, old man Xehanort is whatever. I don't really care much for young Xehanort.
Oh my god, I could not care any less. That's my least favorite Xehanort, and including Terra Xehanort.
I know, and like for me, Xehanort's story in general has always been like inconsistent. It has never really resonated with me.
Yeah.
I don't really care. And so when Kingdom Hearts 3 like finished his story, I was like, cool, let's move on. And I'll be damned. In 2020,
the very next thing,
I was like, we're doing another game, and it's going to be about Xehanort's past. And I was like, why would you do this now?
My favorite is how it's the end of the Xehanort saga, and then we had a Xehanort prequel. Like, we're talking, like, this is before Melman. This was June of 2020. We get the Xehanort prequel saga.
Yeah, well, it was announced in January of 2020. So, like, it was before Remind had come out. And it was untitled, and they were like, we're going to have like a fucking contest where you name the game, but actually you're not naming the game. You're just guessing what the game that we have already titled is probably going to be based off of the amount of letters in this. Like, what the fuck were you doing?
What a lame little activity. It's like Kurt Zeis's at home. Like, maybe they'll name it after me. I'm just going to guess my name, you know?
Oh, it was so weird. It was so, and they also mentioned, we're releasing a Xehanort game. It's being developed by the Union Cross team, which Union Cross was winding down.
Right, like, why did they... I just never got, like, why is this running concurrent?
I don't know. And
the app gets a change, and now it's one app, but it's two games.
And, like, the year before, Nomura was like, well, there's going to be a double feature with Union Cross at some point, and everyone's like, what is that, a movie? It's like, nope, it's another game, but it's a totally different gameplay style in the same art style. Have fucking fun with it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why this happened. I don't know why they did it. I think, if I remember correctly, Nomura wanted to do a Xehanort game. He couldn't get it out the door. He couldn't get it greenlit. It wasn't really being developed. The Union Cross team was like, well, why don't we do it, and it'll give us something else to do while our imminent future is like falling upon us with this game ending. And the Union Cross team was like, well, we'll just develop Dark Road. And then I don't really understand what the rollout was supposed to be, because it was supposed to be in 2020, and this is also when COVID happened. So like lots of delays were affecting everything. There was like a weird year of like, we're going to release this game. It's going to be episodic. Here's the first episode. Oh, wait, no, everything's canceled. We'll just release it all at the end.
Yeah. It's just quite unlike anything I've ever seen in any other series, you know? Like, I mean, surely there's something out there, but, you know, in terms of my, fairly limited experience with, you know, the entire industry, like, I just can't think of something where here's part of something, and then you don't get to play the rest after a long wait. Here's just the story. Okay, bye. That's just crazy.
That's another thing, is that like it's actually a really common misconception that when Dark Road came back for its finale, that it wasn't playable.
Was it? But I'm saying you didn't play the new stuff, right?
No, you did.
You did?
Yeah.
Then what am I thinking of?
I don't. It was. You might just be thinking of the common misconception.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm commonly misconceived.
No, Dark Road was fully playable up until it wasn't.
Well, then where does the misconception come from? Like, why?
People not being able to read, I guess.
I guess that's me. Cut all this, bro. Cut this.
No. But like, I wanted to bring this up anyway. Like, a lot of people think that like you could not ever play Dark Road at the end. I think it's because Union Cross became unplayable.
Maybe that's it.
Update. And so people are like, well, there's just a cinema mode for Union Cross and for Dark Road.
But no,
the difference was that there were no more microtransactions when Dark Road came back. They got rid of that.
That's good, at least.
It's fine, but like Dark Road had that weird autoplay card game mechanic where it was not really even a game. It was just you sit through battles.
Yeah, kind of. I guess I buried the lead in terms of my familiarity with. I have not played this game. I downloaded the app, started the cutscenes, and it's not that like I was even like turned off by whatever was happening. I just like I don't know. I was like later, and then later never came. And I never played it. I have never used a single card. I have flung my fair share of Union Cross medals at PNGs, but I have never done a single thing in this game. So I like, honestly, if anyone takes issue with anything I'm saying, totally fair. I'm really not the guy for this episode, but we've come this far, so.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so here's the full breakdown of how this game was developed.
Yep.
Okay. The game was hinted at in January of 2020 in a Q&A to celebrate the release of Remind, and then it was announced by Union Cross the following day. Union Cross posted a sketch depicting young Xehanort and Ericus and other blurred out characters, which would go on to be his classmates. Dark Road was announced as Project Xehanort, with the Guess the Name campaign in January 23rd of 2020, and the official name was released on January 31st, 2020. Because of COVID, on May 18th, Square Enix announced the game's development would be delayed. On June 8th, the new characters were revealed. On June 22nd, the Union Cross app was rebranded as Union Cross Dark Road, which contained both Union Cross and Dark Road. May 30th, 2021, the app servers were shut down and the game was no longer playable, leaving the plot of Dark Road incomplete. However, Square Enix assured that the offline version of the game would be released with the finished story at a later date. October 8th, 2021, the offline version of Dark Road was set to release in winter of 2021. February 27th, 2022, the update was delayed to an unspecified date. April 10th, 2022, the update was delayed again to August of 2022. On August 8th, the final release date of August 26th was announced. On September 29th, the app received an update, which fixed minor bug fixes, and altered the cutscenes, because some of them had dialogue that was mistranslated or misunderstood, and it changed some things around.
I remember the great-great-grandson thing. I hated that. I hated that they made the gap so small between Dark Road and Union Cross, because, like, my thing with Union Cross is I always liked the idea that it was, like, truly ancient, Like, I'm talking, like...
Yeah.
1,000 years. But this made it seem like, 3 generations. And that just made me like, it just sucks all of the air out of any like sense of grandiosity to the Union Cross era. So they fixed that. They changed it to just that they shared a bloodline or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the update also, the original release gave player a canon look, quote unquote. And then that changed to keep the appearance and gender ambiguous.
Good call.
Then the Child of Destiny plotline, there were vague dialogue references to it, and then they were made more explicit. And then I guess originally Xehanort just killed Baldur, and in the update he hesitated.
Interesting.
And tried to save him before killing him.
I don't know when I initially, because I did watch all of the cutscenes, but I don't know if I watched it before or after. I'm guessing I only watched it before the update because I remember being annoyed by the great-grandson thing. So I must have seen the original version where Xehanort just outright kills Baldur.
Yay.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I know you were saying the young Xehanort is no good, But I do think, like, of the times we've seen young Xehanort, I guess this is my favorite. Like, I feel like we at least get some meaty stuff here, and I don't know if it fully feels like this guy turns into the guy that we defeat at the end of KH3, but it fleshes him out a little bit, Well,
that's my whole thing, is that I have never... Because every time we see Xehanort, it's at a different point in his chronology.
Yeah.
And I never believe that guy is the same guy as the next guy or the previous guy.
Right.
And even seeing this, it's like, I see you as a child. I get that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just too different. We can get into that later,
sure.
I imagine.
Yeah. Sorry, I took us off the road here.
No. I think it's just kind of important to understand, like, why we have so much trouble with it. Like, it's so baffling to me that, like, they could not let go of the Xehanort plot so much. And, like, some insider information here, but, like, this game, Dark Road, kind of got canceled multiple times in its development.
Yeah.
They had to restructure it several times from its intended purpose just to get it out the door. And at one point, Nomura was like, we had to cut, like, everything with the upperclassmen, and I decided not to do it.
Mm.
So, like, they are aware that this is not the most polished story that they are capable of delivering.
Yeah.
But, they kind of tried to make something out of nothing.
And I guess I'll ask, and sorry, again, I'm jumping all over the place, but do you think that this would have been more, like, happily received if this was all wrapped up before KH3 came out? Like, do you think it aids both this game and KH3 if we get this before 3? Because I kind of think it does. I feel like people would read the Xehanort demise sequence, all of that, with, like, maybe less of a, stricter lens on what they need/want to happen with him. Like, I feel like this at least might soften that.
I do, and I don't. Like, I think that this... I would have liked if we had a truncated version of this as the opening of 3. I don't see... Like, in my ideal world, the best version of Kingdom Hearts 3 is one in which you play as Xehanort in Scala.
A lot of people thought that was going to be a thing. Yeah.
It feels natural. I think, especially when you're sending that character off.
Yeah.
I think that bit of development was, like, sorely needed. Especially because, like, the context of Scala and Master Odin and that whole situation, like, there's still a lot of it that's really unclear. What happened there? What happened to the other masters? What happened to the other students in other classes that were evacuated during the Baldur story? What is the deal with Land of Departure? Like, can we get a fucking origin for that if that's not where they trained? And I don't know. Like, I think if that's the direction that Nomura wanted to go in, is that he had this big grandiose, like, training, and he was one of many, and that he had ties to ancient Keyblade wielders, actually, and yada, 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 and he had an inflated sense of self because he was told as a child that he was this, important key, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's all well and good. I want it as part of, like, his send-off.
Right. Because it would have been such a nice bookend to, like, literally be playing in that world as Xehanort, and then the game ends with you sending old Xehanort off from the top of Scala. And it is just weird to think that, like this is our main antagonist of the series, and, like, he doesn't really get fleshed out in a major way. Like, he gets about as much depth as, like, a Xemnas or an Ansem SOD throughout his time, and, especially, like, the Birth by Sleep flashbacks and stuff like that. But even that is more so explaining, like, his plot than his character, So I don't know, like, it's just weird to be done with this villain and then to really only get the bulk of his characterization in this very hastily, strangely delivered mobile game a year after the end of his saga, supposedly.
And the way that they did it, like, they also had to, I think they wanted to do this anyway, but they really had to front load the game with references to Key to justify its inclusion with Key. Like I said, I feel like they would have done a lot of that anyway, particularly with Xehanort being Ephemer's descendant. But I also think that this game also really kind of does some legwork, and we won't know for sure until it comes to pass, but I think it does legwork in foreshadowing Kingdom Hearts 4.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
What's supposed to come next.
Yeah, I think to go back to the Hades conversation, like, that gets set up in, if what we believe is true about Hades with Dawn and Goofy, I think that is being set up with how Hades interacts with the upperclassmen, and to an extent the lowerclassmen in this game.
With that in mind, do you feel like it's time to to talk about the good things, the bad things?
I will try. You're going to have to help me because, again, did not play this, have watched the cutscenes once. So I'm going off of like memory from 5 years ago at this point. But I have a thing, so I'll start my timer.
Yeah.
Let's go right now. I think Dark Road, for all of its faults, is one of the best games in the series at integrating the Disney stuff with the main plotline. Is that a hot take? I don't really think it is. I think it's just one that people don't really think about or acknowledge because the game is not that popular. But
yeah, no one hears it because no one talks about it.
Right. I think even when you compare it, like, I think 1 and 3, I mean, 1 does it the best out of the main 3 IMO, and then 3, and then there's a bit of drop off until 2. But, like, I think this game might do it better than all of them. It might be better than 1. I mean, it's not a more fun game or experience than 1 for me. But in terms of, like, how consistently, it's mainly with the villains, how they often tie in really well with what's going on with the story. And I like that it's the villains because, like, Xehanort ends up being our main villain for the saga, and so he's gleaning a lot of insight and doing a lot of introspection when he's, like, seeing these villains in their natural habitats. You have him kind of, like, deducing things about the Queen of Hearts and the darkness that he senses within her. You have, like, his conversations with the magic mirror, both as young Xehanort and when he comes back as an old Baldy. And then, especially, we just touched on this, the Hades stuff. Hades stuff less so with, like, a direct relationship with Xehanort in this game, but the way that Hades is brought into the overarching KH original plot by being this sort of, you know, for lack of a better term, like the ferryman between, you know, the living and the dead. Obviously, there's someone else in the underworld that has that job that we don't see in the Olympus stuff in Kingdom Hearts, but, like, that's his role, is like, hey, I know who's dead. You're looking for dead people. I'll show you for a price. I think all of that was really well done. There's stuff with Jafar too. I'm a little hazier on that. I'm not even sure if that really gets to an integration place, but I know that they interact with Jafar at various points in the Agrabah visit. But, like, in terms of, Dwarf Woodlands, Wonderland, Beast Castle stuff, there's no villain there, but I like how the upperclassmen steal the rose, and that's, like, a plot point in that world. Like, it's some pretty good stuff. I would love if KH4 would expand on this,
How much time do we have left?
We have about 8 minutes.
Okay, great. I'm going to crack this shit.
All right, let's do it.
No, I agree with you. I think another cool thing about the Disney worlds and their implementation is that they also, like, answered questions about, like, the lore and the way the universe works in a way that, like, in some ways we've been wondering them for, like, 20 years. Oh, goodness, sneeze. Bless. Sorry about that. I know. It's such a stupid gay sneeze. For one thing, time axis. Horse shit, right?
Yeah.
People have always been wondering, like, okay, how does time flow in the Disney world?
Yeah, it's weird.
And the canon answer to that is fuck you, nerd.
Right. It really is.
It's whatever we want. But it also kind of, like, it does answer some questions on how repopulation happened post the Keyblade War. And the answer is that the people just kind of sprung into being after the worlds were reformed. And some of them are taking longer than others. And that's why worlds are not as densely populated. It kind of, like, shrugs and says, if you want to think that's why there's no NPCs in the earlier games, maybe you can think that.
Yeah, like, it kind of does some extra groundwork for games without NPCs. Like, Dream Drop does this too, to an extent, where it's like, well, it's a dream, so it's only, only the relevant parties are being dreamed up right now. So, no excuse for BBS, really, unless that's, far enough back in the timeline that things are still repopulating. But
I mean, for some worlds.
Yeah, right. All those cheering fans in Olympus.
And speaking of Olympus, another question that had been asked for, like, a long time was, does Hades, is the underworld for everybody?
Yeah.
Does Hades have that control over everybody? And some people have seen the scenes in Dark Road, and they still fucking think that the answer to that is yes. The canon answer is no.
Well, not. I was going to say, like, you have a place like, and this is maybe not an exact adjacency to the underworld, but, like, a place like Davy Jones' Locker in the Caribbean, or even, like, to an extent, the Final World. Like, that's not a final resting place, despite the name, but it is, an afterlife place.
The upperclassmen ended up in the Final World.
Right,
When they tell their story, they even explicitly say, like, we ended up in the Final World.
God, dude.
And, Hades had to, like, break the rules to bring them to the underworld. Like, he had to summon them.
Yeah. How cool would it have been? I mean, it doesn't make sense timeline-wise, but, like, if you were in KH3 and, like, you talk to some of these nameless stars and then like you get the Dark Road and you're like, oh fuck, this matches up with some of those Nameless Star text boxes in 3. Like, again,
I mean, because it's actually a big fear of mine that at some point those stars are going to have like
I hope not.
canon stories.
I mean, to an extent, like it would have been cool to be the upperclassmen again, despite the timeline wonkiness of it. But if they're not going to do that, I think just let them be, because they're such nice little snapshots as they are.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like one or something, but like
not all of them.
Nominate was there, Nameless Star was there,
right?
So like, it's okay.
Yeah,
we kind of figured it out, right?
Right. So,
but no, I think that part was really cool.
I wanted to circle back to what you were saying about the time axis stuff. So yeah, it's basically not confirmed, but like heavily suggested that like after some of these scenes with Xehanort and some of these villains, like Sora's just about to show up, right? In terms of like the Disney timeline.
Yeah, in terms of like their perception of time, and you know they go out of their way to say that like some of these worlds are developing faster than others,
right?
But like we're only less than a year out from what happens to Belle and Beast in their timeline of their world. So that's a pretty big one. That's a pretty big honking deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they also go out of their way not to show the princesses at their today age, so that you know there's more ambiguity towards how close that is to the timeline. And then you've got like the evil queen who. Perhaps she stays that young forever. Perhaps she goes out of her way to make herself look that young and beautiful. So maybe that's how that is. And Hades is a god, and Jafar is evil magic, and old and whatever. I will also say that like I think it's fucking hilarious that over 70 years or however long it is, the evil queen has one move, and that's to throw a bottle at the magic mirror. Like.
She loves that shit.
I cackled when I saw that in the trailer. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing she can do.
They should have the Undertale or the Deltarune Lancer splat noise every time she does it.
Yeah. But they do interesting things with the characters. They do interesting little bits of story here and there.
Yeah.
And the dialogue is hilarious. Eric is walking like a carpet.
Everyone loves the verb boulder throw.
Some of the best stuff in the game.
Yeah.
The Tweedledee and Tweedledum
that's good.
part where, first of all, their introduction to the series, they're not in Union Cross.
How weird is it that they are the only new Disney characters in this game? Like the big...
It's a weird situation.
the big debut. It's weird.
But the story of the Walrus and the Carpenter, it basically is Dark Road.
Yeah,
all of the oysters die at the end of it, and all of the kids die at the end of Dark Road. So
that's true.
Pretty good use of Disney storytelling, if you ask me.
Yeah. Again, like, in terms of comparing it to even the mainline games, like, I don't think things ever really get that consistently integrated. And it could be by virtue of this being obviously a very short experience, compared to the numbered ones. But, like, you'll get like a Monstro or a Neverland in KH1 where it feels like things are really woven together. But then you got like an Atlantica or a Halloween Town where it's like pretty chill in terms of like what's happening in KH context. But this game, it's like every Disney world, like there is something that's tying back into the overarching narrative, which I think should be commended.
Well, those two animators, they were like, you better fucking make this worth our while, because we are killing ourselves over this shit.
Yeah. Those brave women, those two brave women that did all of Dark Road.
Women. How are we on time?
We got about a minute and a half.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's also interesting that they were able to reuse the same worlds mostly from Key. I know that they were very much limited on resources, so they kind of had to. But it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible at all.
They did well with what they have. There was this... I'm just kind of like skimming the plot synopsis of some of these Disney worlds in Dark Road. There's this plot point of like the upperclassmen are targeting the lamp because it's like some sort of world order balancing like object. That kind of never comes back in any meaningful way, does it? Just throughout the series.
It kind of does. The gates in Kingdom Hearts 2 are usually unlocked by those sentimental items.
I guess the thing with the gate items is that like nobody ever acknowledges that they have any meaning. Like even as they're floating in the air and Sora does this big thing, like someone in one world might ask like, what was that? And Donald's like, the gate was open, and that's it. but no one ever covets these things. No one's ever searching for them. Even the
and
good
Aerith
guys
was
are
like, but I just made that card. It's got felt tip marker smudged on it, and our laminating machine isn't working.
Yeah, what the hell? And you misspelled my name. Yeah. How did you misspell Sora? This is crazy.
No one can read.
Yeah, even the characters in Kingdom Hearts. Oh, so we are above our 10 now. We've done our duty.
God.
But like again, as negative, and as hand wringing we've been about the entire Dark Road experience so far. I genuinely do mean that. Like, if I'm gonna pick one good thing to say about this game, it is that. So I genuinely do appreciate that. I don't want that to be misconstrued.
No, it's good. I think it's also a good sign of things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. If the two women that worked on this game, and I doubt they did all the writing as well, but hopefully they're involved with KH4 because this was heading in the right direction for my personal taste with the series.
The only person I know who helped write this game is Kanamaki. I love Kanamaki. I think that the light novels are great.
Yeah,
and that Days is great.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it's my turn.
All right. I'm ready for you. Here we go.
Okay.
Start.
I like how Dark Road introduces new philosophical themes into the series. I think with the original Dark Secret, I know you're like, okay.
No, I mean, go off, King. I'm all about it.
Are you much of a philosophy person, Pat?
I took intro to philosophy in college 7 years ago.
Okay, well then this will be right up your alley, or maybe it won't. I don't know. I think that the first saga has a lot of themes, but I think one of the most pervading themes of the original saga, the Dark Secret saga, is identity.
Mm-hmm.
I think that those original games kind of start with perception of self philosophy and like what it means to be a person and how you identify. I think that it takes a lot from Hume and Hume's bundle theory, which is the idea that your sense of self is actually shaped moment to moment by your experiences. Like my heart is shaped by every person I come into contact with in each new experience. And then it evolves to a point where the broader theme is like, yes, that's part of it, but also like your sense of self is shaped by other people, the way they view you, and outside validation for better or for worse. And I think that that's a really core tenet in terms of like what hearts are, how hearts work, people vying for their own sense of self and their identity, etc., etc. I think that Dark Road, interestingly, one of its major themes that is relatively new to the series is moral relativism. The idea that there is no concrete morality, that there is no concrete right/wrong, and that those things are defined by culture, experiences, and perspective.
This is great because I vividly remember learning about literally moral relativism in that intro to philosophy class. So this is great.
It's a pretty big deal, right? Like even if you don't have the words to describe it, like getting caught between the ideas of right and wrong and who is to say what that is.
Right.
Those are very simple philosophical questions that can get the ball rolling into broader discussions of ethics.
Yeah.
But Kingdom Hearts has only ever really flirted with that. Like, what is light? What is darkness? You can't have one without the other. And then they stop.
Right.
Oh, well, darkness isn't all bad. It's just scary. And then they stop.
Right. And light's not always good. It could be bad. And then they stop.
Right. Like, they've been edging us on this plot for 20 years.
Yeah, it's true.
But they can't really seem to escape the idea that like darkness causes inherent harm and therefore it is bad and it is the enemy that must be stopped. And Xehanort says in the games prior to this that he wants to maintain balance. He wants to get rid of the tyranny of light and recreate the world so that it can be truly in equilibrium. And we see hints of that.
Not to interrupt, but I just want, before I forget, like this also paves the way very well for what the Master of Masters is going to be up to. So in terms of setting up for 4, I think this also does a good job with, graying the absolutism between light and darkness.
Right. I agree with that, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I absolutely 100%. I think this is the younger classmen, the lower classmen. They begin talking about these philosophical ideals pretty quickly in their journeys. Like the idea of like, okay, well, the Queen of Hearts is obviously a dictator and everyone here is afraid of her and she rules by fear. Why don't we just take her out?
Yeah.
Well, there is an established world order here. The way that certain people view things as good or bad or whatever is totally dependent on their own world order, their own code of ethics, their own personal responsibilities, their own personal perspectives. We are not the people to decide that.
Right.
These people currently live under this queen, and that is their choice. If they want to do an uprising, so be it, but they don't, and they're not. And it's not the Keyblader's duty to instigate that.
Okay, but PJ, can Skullad Kylum maybe secretly do like a shadow fund for weapons for the White Rabbit and the Mad Hatter and such? Or is that off the table? Can we provide...
I think that's off the table.
Okay, I was just asking.
I think that's off the table.
Diplomacy is difficult.
Fresh Faces 4 about to be about how that's bad.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what
that might be a focal point of Fresh Faces 4.
Skullad Kylum is making weapons of mass destruction for Disney protagonists to kill Disney villains.
Yeah.
But then, we see that more. We see that with this kind of discussion of when they meet the upperclassmen who have died in the underworld, they have another version of this. And the upperclassmen are very much like, we cannot tell you how to live your life.
Yeah.
Which I think is what May Your Heart Be Your Guiding Key really is. I think that when you take that down and you boil it and distill it, it is like, you can only do what's right by you. And we are letting you do that. You should do what's right by you, and we will hands off.
It's really just believe in yourself.
It's believe in yourself, but also believe in your capacity to make the right decision and believe what you're doing is right for you.
Okay, but question. When the Master of Masters uses it and sort of proliferates the phrase, does he mean it? Is that kind of like a dog whistle?
I think he means it, but I also think that he knows that if everyone... there is another side to this.
Because some people's hearts are wrong and should not be followed. Should not be
exactly. Some people believe that they are correct and there is moral ambiguity, but sometimes in the world, people, their perspective is leading them down a dark path. And in the pursuit of the greater good, they do terrible, horrible things. I think the Master, knowing both how the story ends and the quickest way to get to that point or whatever, is by just telling everyone that they should do what they think is right.
Right.
And so there's a flip side to this. One side of it is that in your pursuit of truth, go out into the world and do what's right by you. And I'm not the person to define that.
Yeah.
But also, if you blindly do that and don't learn and grow and you narrow-mindedly stick to that path, you end up doing a lot of harm.
Which I love that. I think taking what sounds like such a cliche, when you boil it down to believe in yourself, that does not everybody should believe in themselves without question and not have some introspection and think about why they believe in that way and maybe believing in a different way. Really taking stock in your options here. I feel like Kingdom Hearts doesn't, again, for the first, maybe half of the franchise, really dealt in these absolutes, especially with the light and darkness stuff and these, villains or heroes. But this stuff muddying the waters a bit, I think, is good for the lifeblood of the series.
Nomura has said that one of the major themes in Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be perspective. So what you were saying earlier as well, this idea of who's right, who's wrong, who's light, who's darkness, it depends on how you look at it, is not going away.
Right.
I think that this was a really good introduction into those themes because I think that one of the biggest, if not the biggest theme of 4 that we know of is going to be who's in reality, who's not real, whose life experience is valid, whose isn't, who's a fictional character, who's living in reality. That depends on who's looking at it. And so things like light and darkness are going to be the same thing. From here on out, darkness is an actual living entity rather than an abstract concept of right and wrong. That also muddies the waters a bit because how can you tell a living thing with agency that it is inherently wrong by its own existence? You kind of can't.
Which is fascinating to think about how that entity operates in a game like Union Cross. And the prospect of Sora or someone that we know to be, a protagonist, bartering and negotiating with that kind of being. I cannot wait to see how they handle something like that. I think that's going to be so interesting.
And they even hinted at it with Vanitas. Vanitas has a new personhood away from those 13 darknesses because he integrated his heart with another human and forged, perception of self, forged an individual identity. And he's hesitant to talk about the darknesses.
Yeah.
He's afraid.
They show that. That is a great moment in Dark Road when Xehanort's like, shut the fuck up or I'll kill you, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's so
And then
fun.
when Xehanort tries to get him to talk about the darknesses and he won't, Xehanort's like, what are you afraid of? Like, you're afraid of something.
Yeah.
So
great
that
scene.
also kind of shows that, like, it's not that black and white with light and darkness either.
Yeah.
And that'll be a theme that'll be worth exploring, but like, down the road and in the next game.
I also hope things don't end up being like the moral of the story is, who knows? Like, some people are good and some people are bad, but it really just depends on your eyesight. Like, I don't want it to be like, I don't know. That also seems like kind of washing your hands of like anyone being, good or bad. Like, I don't know. Again, we're getting back into the true core philosophy of this. Like, I'm not somebody who thinks that people are born good or bad.
Right.
But Kingdom Hearts, I think we're leading up to a place where Kingdom Hearts also will arrive at that conclusion. But I also hope it's not like, well, he's a dictator or warlord, but you gotta let him do it because it's his world and we're not from here. I hope we don't have like a repeat of the lower classmen in Wonderland, and that's like a through line that gets carried through to 4 and beyond. Like, I don't want that to be the tenor of the series moving forward. But it is more interesting than how light and darkness have been dealt with up until that point. I will agree.
Well, I also think that like it's an extension of growing up. Like, the Kingdom Hearts series, for better or for worse, is maturing.
Right.
So you have to kind of add in these viewpoints of like, okay, we first viewed the world as a child, so then we get these dichotomies of good and bad from fairy tales.
Yeah.
Now things are a lot more messy. What does that mean for our own perspective? Because the right and wrong objectively still exist.
Right.
And I don't think they're going to move away from that. But it'll be more interesting to see how that is kind of played out.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to how much time do I have left?
You were actually over. Yeah, you did it.
I was going to talk about David Hume's philosophy with empathy.
We'll do it.
And how a sympathetic person really influences moral judgment. Long story short, this game also brings up the idea that an empath is an actual thing in Kingdom Hearts rather than
like a power.
Something that, Californians say that they are.
Yeah.
And just the idea that, like, we have people who can see into other people's hearts and feel their feelings.
Yeah.
And Sora is one, and Xehanort is one.
Yeah.
And for Xehanort, it, like, wrecked his life, and for Sora, it saved it.
And
I think that's interesting.
Did it, like, go away for Xehanort? Like, does Xehanort have that ability?
No. He still has that ability.
But is he, like, turning it off? Or does he just not care? Like, he sees it? He's just using it for bad.
He uses it to manipulate the situation.
Yeah.
In the added scene encoded Xehanort, Zigbar says that Xehanort can still see into other people's minds.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I think that Xehanort still has it. I that was at least what I thought.
Yeah.
I read from the situation. I could be wrong.
I mean, there's still a giant chunk of Xehanort's life. Like, despite getting this, this whole game about him, we still don't know what ton.
Years unaccounted for.
We have a huge gap, so we don't know what went down, if he shed that ability, if he's keeping it on the down low, if he has it, but he's using it for evil or ignoring it, which I
don't think he did.
Yeah.
I think he's an evil empath.
Yeah.
Well, evil. I think he's a dark empath.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so was Baldur. So, like, we have 3 characters that were empaths, and for Baldur, like, it really fucked up his life.
Yeah. God, that depiction of, like, bed rotting in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh my God.
Wasn't on my bingo card. Yeah. Yeah, that's like the most relatable fucking Kingdom Hearts scene there is.
I think Baldur is fascinating.
Yeah, I think
that
he's a highlight.
Idea is really interesting. I don't know. For all of its faults, I do think that there were lots of neat things in there that definitely deserved a better game.
Yeah.
than what it got.
Yeah. But I will say, being done with our positives, like, I feel better about the game now than I did an hour ago.
Well, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You have to approach the games now from, like, what they were intending to do and what they're trying to say. And, like, try to, like, pan some sort of gold out of the muck here.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that about a Kingdom Hearts game, because I think by and large they're all very good games with interesting mechanics and interesting things to say. But I also think that, like, a real antidote to the cynicism of modern gaming is to treat video games as the art that they are.
Right.
You might not like it,
but
it is trying to accomplish something. And what is that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a healthier viewpoint to do all media with at this point, as, like, things that are made by people curtailed by corporations. And, like, what ended up in the middle of that.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at with the positives, I guess. Are you ready to talk about the negatives?
Yeah, I am. And we kind of already touched on it. I'll just get going here.
Sure.
I guess my main problem is that this video game is not, like, it's arguably not a video game. The fact that you can play the entirety of it by pressing an auto button, like, we're like an inch.
Shout out to Otto.
Yeah, shout out to Otto. We're like a centimeter above back cover in terms of, like, how interactable this experience is. Like, the operative part of a video game is, like, making decisions and, you know, an exertion of skill, and neither of those things are actually mandatory for your experience with Dark Road.
Yeah.
And this goes hand in hand with the fact that it's not available anymore. So,
yeah,
like,
what the fuck?
we just we've covered this in past episodes, but, like, what is the plan, you know? Like, how can we in good faith move on to KH4 with these people that are maybe have a more ancillary experience or relationship with the series, and they just, like, don't have an official capacity to get a lot of this, you know, build up stuff for the next arc here, outside of, like, going to a non-official YouTube channel. Like, that's just crazy to me that we're heading into this next section and there is no official capacity to do all of this. Shout out to Damo, who did a fantastic dub for Union Cross and is currently in production for the Dark Road one. I'm glad that exists, but it shouldn't have to be the best way. There should be a Square Enix funded and supplied way to get these plot points. I hold out hope that a KH4 will have something like those memory archives or whatever they're called in the beginning of 3 at the menu, where you can, like, maybe read up or have some cutscenes, but they're good. Yeah, and they actually do their job at getting you up to speed, because otherwise, like, we're out to sea without a lighthouse. So I'm like a minute over, but I kind of had two things there, but I was annoyed about both. So
it feels really counter. I don't want to say, like, productive, but I guess so, to, like, what they were doing with, like, the remixes and stuff.
Right, like, it's a total 2 steps forward, 3 steps back kind of thing. Like, we spent so many years hoping that these things could be consolidated and made more accessible and approachable for either fans that are new or dropped off because things started to dovetail off into all these different things or branch off. But now it's like, okay, you need to, you know, download these apps that update at a snail's pace until they stop entirely and then drop everything at once. And now you can't get them
that's
anymore.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
It really, like, you know, people might roll their eyes or whatever, but, like,
it is true.
This is what happens.
And I never blame, you know, the artists and the writers when it comes to stuff like this. And I don't think we even mentioned the word coronavirus during this episode, but that did have a role to play in terms of the, you know, scattered release schedule with Dark Road. So
yeah, I mean,
you
we did talk about COVID a little bit.
Did we? I forgot.
Yeah.
I zone out.
Yeah, he's had COVID, Brian. You know, it's fine. I mean, I'm the one who had it recently, but whatever.
But yeah, like, I, you know, cut them some slack for having to deal with, you know, that unprecedented type of thing.
I'm going to talk about my thing that I hate now.
All right, you're up. Get it.
Okay, well, Kingdom Hearts Dark Road done fucked up the timeline.
Yeah.
I am sick of it. I'm not the kind of person that's like, the chronology of a game is blah, blah, blah. But, like, this one's pretty blatant. Like, you made a character's whole thing be about time travel and living their lives and all of that shit, and you can't even figure out, like, what the timeline is. Like, Remind says that several years happened between Dark Road and when Xehanort met the Master, and Dark Road says it was only a year, which cannot be the case. That cannot be possible. That's not a thing. It also fucks up the chronology with Ven and when Xehanort met Ven and how long Ven was around before the Sora thing happened and how long Ven was with Ericus before Birth by Sleep's main story started. Like, they're just not paying any attention.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating, like, to be a fan of something and know more about that shit than the people that are working on it do. I've also been on the other side, though, where I've worked on projects where it's like, I don't remember everything that we said about the thing, and I just kind of hope that the other people in the room do. So I get it. Like, sometimes the thing that you make is not your special interest, but, you literally said in the other game, like, what the time frame was.
But do you think, like, I feel like Nomura is the type of guy where, like, he might not notice the inconsistency as it's happening, but he will go out of his way to patch it up later on. I mean, KH2 is like the game that's like going out of its way to tie up everything that the secret movie did. Do you think that, like, maybe he's got like George R.R. Martin syndrome and like that's why Forsaken so long? Because he's like trying to write himself out of a hole right now because there's like these things that he fucked up?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the man thinks. I don't know how he thinks. I don't know what his process is. I mean, it's possible. I don't think they're going to look at Dark Road again unless they're remaking it, if I'm being honest. No. I think it was too much of a clusterfuck for them.
Yeah. But, like, there are aspects that are going to turn back up. Okay, here's my question. Let's just, like, you, Chain, and I, we did that Cage 4 prediction thing however long ago at this point. Do you think we see 3D models of anybody who debuted in Dark Road in Cage 4?
I think there's a chance.
I think Odin is, like, my number one pick.
Odin, maybe. I think Baldur has a good shot. I think for sure Xehanort's coming back.
Young Xehanort with the umbrella in the fucking Quadratum Park. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Like, Xehanort very clearly says in Dark Road that he needs a 14th life in order to, like,
it's so over
what he sowed.
It's so over, and he's so back.
Yeah, and then the FAQ afterwards shows this piece of art with Xehanort in modern clothing in a park in Shibuya.
Yep.
So, guess what that means, folks?
I hope it's just like Sora's walking, he drops his gummy phone, Xehanort's like, here, you dropped this. Oh, thanks. Wait, do I know you? I don't know you, and that's it.
Yeah, I absolutely want it to be like the end of Teen Titans. If you haven't watched Teen Titans and want to, like, okay, well, fuck off. It's really old. Like, I would accept it under those circumstances.
Yeah.
Whoever this Xehanort is, that he doesn't remember shit.
But if we fight Xehanort, if Xehanort is in cahoots with any villains, I'm done. I'm out.
I think so. It'll be a clean slate for him. But I don't know. I don't care. I really do hope it's just that one scene.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Xehanort offers Sora his umbrella.
Would you rather Xehanort is like acting antagonistically to Sora, or maybe he's like fighting alongside him for a segment or two?
Oh,
I kind of wouldn't mind that as like a one-off. Like, we got ambushed in the park by some Heartless or whatever, and Xehanort's going to help us with his umbrella.
Fine.
I think that'd be kind of cute.
I guess it's fine. Whatever.
Do we have emails for today?
Yeah, we do. Okay. I've got kind of a weird one. I don't know if you'll want to answer this one.
How weird are we talking? Are we talking like my Twitter DM's weird, or?
I'll just read it and you can tell me if you don't want to answer it. Hi, PJ and Pat. Led with me. That's a great start.
That's a first. I mean, that's good.
I don't think I've ever heard this come up in any of Pat's videos. And out the door. I'm interested in your thoughts on Pat's game theory videos on Arendelle.
Oh.
I'm a subscriber of the belief that Arendelle was originally designed to be more than what we got with the final product. And then that video is linked.
Yeah.
But there's a okay, so what? No?
No, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I have discussed this in a roundabout way through videos that I've done, like knowing that this video exists and has sort of popularized this idea. I think all there is to say at the end of the day is that, like, it is just a theory, you know?
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Sure, but like, it's not gospel. I think a lot of people treat it as fact that there was this prior incarnation of Arendelle that was supposed to look differently, and like Elsa was going to be evil or something. I know that's part of it. I don't know.
I have more thoughts, but I will continue reading the email. Pat made a point in the KH3 recording about filling the emptiness of the drought and making the wait feel shorter. I fully agree. Thanks to both of you for doing the podcast and keeping Kingdom Hearts relevant, even when Square Enix won't. It's always fun to hear your thoughts. Signed, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Ben Diskin?
Who knows?
I love young Xehanort, Ben. You're free to join us anytime.
He probably would.
You think so? He'd probably be one of the more reasonable gets.
So here's the thing about Arendelle. I think I've only watched this Matt Pat video once because it was like, oh, this is an interesting thought, and then I left it alone. But I do know that this dominates like the conversation. We know for a fact that Frozen was altered at least a little bit. Because the castle boss that you fight in Gummy Space was originally intended for the world of Frozen.
Yeah. The Glacial Fortress, I believe it's called. Yeah.
Okay, what a fucking nerd.
What?
Okay.
What?
Who remembers the names of bosses after Kingdom Hearts 1?
The guy that had to do a
after
video.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
The guy that did a video about people submitting their favorite characters, and they said fucking crazy shit like the Glacial Fortress lives in my head rent free.
That's fucking crazy.
It is.
I don't want to call you guys crazy. I think that's like ableist, but like, get some help.
Stop
it. Kiss some hell. That's a meme. I don't mean it. Okay, so at the very least, we know that there were some edits made to the world, but like there are edits made to every world.
Yeah.
Things change in every single world. I don't know if I believe that there's a big conspiracy that Disney demanded that the world be reimagined or remade or whatever, especially because Nomura was like, the Disney world that had the most rules and restrictions in editing was Monsters, Inc.
Mm-hmm.
So, but on the other hand, like, Disney also, like, Square also told me shit like, they gave Square the models for Frozen, but they would not give them the fully meshed or textured ones because things like the exact amount of snowflakes on Elsa's cape are confidential.
That's crazy. Who gives a shit? I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why that happened, but it's true.
Yeah. What is it, like the herbs and spices in KFC? Oh no. Someone got the Elsa snowflake number. They're going to get the Pentagon.
She doesn't even wear that robe anymore.
It's in her fucking closet.
Maybe there was a world in which it was a little different. I think that Larxene is an odd choice for that world.
Yeah.
The ice
maybe
powers. That could have all gone a different way. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, having her use ice powers, too. Like, she uses electricity to, like, move the ice around, but she's like...
Yeah, and, like, it kind of makes sense because there is a lot of static electricity on mountains because of how high up it is and the lack of moisture because of how cold it is.
And you're calling me a fucking nerd?
Okay.
Look at this climate scientist over here.
And I also talked about fucking Hume and philosophy.
Hegelian dialectics or whatever.
Whatever. The point of the matter is that, you know, there's a difference between, like, just knowing things and being smart and just being a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on that one.
All right. I'm a nerd and you know things.
Yeah, that's...
One's a nerd, one knows useful stuff. PJ and Pat.
I don't think anything that I've talked about today is useful.
Fair. What the fuck was my point? It's good stuff to talk about at like a cocktail party.
Who goes to cocktail parties? I don't.
Not me. They won't bring me because all I know about is how to name the glacial fortress. I'm like, well, Occam's razor would suggest here that...
Oh my god, I hope you cut yourself with Occam's razor, you fucking nerds.
Whatever. What was your point?
Whatever.
The Elsa Arendelle.
Oh, I will say this about it. Like, I think that Arendelle is one of my least favorite worlds in general.
Yeah.
So I do agree that it's lacking. But I also think that, like, when you strip Frozen down to its bare minerals, it's kind of milquetoast. They really do just be climbing a mountain. And Sora didn't have to climb it 3 times. I agree. I think that's stupid. But what I really like about the Frozen world is that the main story of Frozen is happening in the background. And you're an active participant in what's happening off screen.
Mm.
So, like, you know, it kind of has a weird viewing experience of just having to watch the movie again. But I like the idea of Marshmallow being your party member. Like, someone who's not the protagonist of the movie.
Yeah, you know what?
Telling a side story.
It's kind of like Lion King 1.5 as a Kingdom Hearts world. Like, it's obviously not the Lion King world, but that it's like the closest comparison I can make.
Yeah, I think that's neat.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Anyway, I don't know if I put full stock into the theory, but I think that I definitely think that there were edits made.
Yeah, for sure. Probably to all of them.
But we'll never know.
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else coming up that we want to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, hopefully by the time this podcast is out, I will have... I mean, it's not going to be out before this podcast, but soon after. I have a new video coming out about my ideal KH1 Final Mix Plus. PJ is doing some assets for that video for me as well.
Yeah, when do you want those by
whenever you want. Like, you know.
So if it's super late, it's because I decided not to do them.
Yeah, that'd be a great excuse for me to use.
Yeah, despite the fact that, like, I am known for how quick of a turnaround I have for art.
Yeah.
So. But I've been a little busy this weekend. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Anyway. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of No Sad Face Podcast. We post every other Saturday. Our music and our videos are done by David Russell. Our art is done by Esperoba. You can get both of their links and everything that we're up to on nosadface.com. You can see all past episodes. You can see the various places where we are posting podcasts there. And it's just a good place to hang.
And write in at nosadfacepod@gmail.com.
Kind of.
No Sad Face Podcast?
There you go.
Fuck me. Whatever.
I know.
We'll get it one day.
Yeah, we'll get it one
or
day.
I'll get
it. Write in.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Just see what's going on. Next episode is Melody of Memory.
Hell yeah. I'll have more to say on that one. But again, I think this went okay. I'm pleasantly surprised with how the Dark Road combo went. So yeah. Good job, us. We deserve another award.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Best people who just grin and bear prisons of their own building.
Yeah,
because we did this to ourselves.
Yeah. Why do we only build one toilet?
You know why.
Yeah, we like to share.